Hey there, you guys, welcome back. Time for another update. We are going to look at the Monn Millenium Magic Witchcraft. Did I get it right? I think so. It's a catasetum type orchid. It's the black orchid that we all know and love, and many of you are growing this now, which is fantastic. Right now, you're probably experiencing, well, we're in, what month is it? It's January, it's almost February. By the time you watch this, it might be February because we're right on the verge. So, I apologize. I should never do dates in my videos. Even if you watch it 6 months from now, again, you'll be confused. Anyway, we're in the winter, and why? We're in the winter time, and these orchids like to go dormant. They have a winter rest. So these are fantastic orchids if you like to grow outside and you don't really want to bring your plants inside, you don't have space, window space or whatever, and you want to have them rest and not require a lot of sun over the winter time in the house. These are perfect. So right now, actually, they're coming out of dormancy, and I'm not watering yet. Well, actually, I did. Whoops. No, I purposely watered them a little bit. These weren't in dormancy for a long period of time, so I am assuming that the root system has not completely shriveled up and died. Basically, the leaves fell off, and then maybe a month after the leaves fell off, we started getting a little bit of a nubbin that the growth is coming from. And yeah, so I'll bring you in a little bit closer. I'll show you the nubs. And yeah, I will start watering these. I watered them well just recently. I like to mist them, the soil, the top of the media. I don't want to do a deep watering because they are dormant. They're not using the water. So if you water them too much, they will rot. When they're not photosynthesizing and actively growing and stuff like that, they don't want to be moist all the time. So that's true for most of your plants at any given time. So just keep that in mind, a helpful note, that if it's not actively growing, you don't want to water it as much as when it's actively growing, because this species actually requires quite a bit of water when it's actually actively growing, and you'll know because it's putting out so many leaves and it's really, really lush in a short period of time. It needs the nourishment to be able to do that. So just keep that in mind. Your plants are telling you what they need all the time. So just again, a little side note. And I think that's where a lot of my success comes from. I kind of read my plants. That being said, I'm a lazy gardener, and they tell me like a long time before I actually do it, and then I'm like, oh, why didn't I see that? Or why didn't I get off the couch and do something about it? So anyway, it's easier to kill a plant by overwatering it than it is to underwater it. So keep that in mind. It's better to be a little bit neglectful than a little bit too loving. Anyway, you're probably saying, get on with the bloody video, Bill. I'm sorry. I get rambly. It's fine. Maybe it was a coffee. I don't know. So anyway, let's come a little closer. We'll look at the new growth. Here, it produced 2 flower spikes, and that was wonderful. This little one here didn't produce anything. I feel gypped, but that's okay. I didn't really give it the right care this past year. I kept it under the grow lights, and I kind of watered it. I kind of didn't. It was definitely a lot more straggly. You could tell that the bulb here, the pseudo bulb, is not as plump as the one that it grew from at the garden center, as you can see. This one is a lot taller, but it was probably stretching for some light. So same thing with these ones here. This is the one that was in the garden center, a much more plump bulb, and then these two here are the ones that produced while it was in my care. These ones are still bigger than this one, but next year I'm going to plant them outside or place them outside, and they're going to get a lot more light and a lot more love, fertilizer, blah blah blah. So I'm growing with them. This is the second season, I guess, that I'm going to be growing these. So I'm experimenting, and that's what I recommend that you do, because my growing conditions is not necessarily going to be what make yours thrive. So I've got, as you could probably see here, maybe right here by my fingertip, there is a nubbin of growth, which is wonderful. That's going to be a new growth. And then right here is another one. right by my fingertip. This one is a lot smaller, so it's harder to see. So these are quite small, so you don't really want to really start watering them yet. You want to have the new growth produce about 2, 3, even 4-inch root before you start watering. So the plant itself is going to be probably 4 or 5 inches tall before you need to really start watering it. But I do mist. When I see the little root systems, I will give them a little bit of a spray, just so that they have a little bit of nourishment. And you can give a little bit of a weak fertilizer at that point as well. Don't overdo it though. Don't overdo it. It's trying to grow. It's not actively growing. It's just, it's working its way up to it. So if you do a quarter strength fertilizer, just a little misting on the root system, you'll probably get some nice growth from that. And here's the other one. This one actually surprises me because this one is the healthier one. And this one was the one that didn't bloom. This one, the new growth, is significantly larger than the other, which is fascinating to me. But maybe it's because it didn't spend all of its time producing the blooms like the other one did. This one has a little bit more stored energy for growth. So in the next coming weeks, we are going to remove these from the pots. And I want to pot them. I think I want to pot them together. Ah! The roots are stuck to the side of the pot. These ones have nice root systems, as I find. Oh, you're not even in frame. Sorry. This one has a nice root system, but they tend to rot out every season. So it's good to go in and repot these, if not annually, then every other year, biannually, just to make sure that you get all the old, maybe decaying roots out of the way. Yeah, so soon we'll do a repot. I don't want to do it just yet, but very, very soon, in the next coming weeks, maybe in a month or so, we'll do a repot video. And yeah, I want to put them both together. There's no need for me to have 2 pots of the same thing. I don't have the space for that, and I think it'll give a better show. So anyway, stay tuned for more updates. Happy growing, everyone. Good luck with your black orchids. I want to see updates on yours. I know that you do it really, really well because I see it. And yours are growing beautifully. So don't mind the angles. So the Masdevallia I have down on the bottom, and then I have the Dracula orchid sitting on a pot, and it gets the constant flow